Let's start off from the Upper East, where Regional Minister Stephen Yakubu is leading the Regional Security Council to Bawku to ascertain at first hand the state of security in that town. This follows the killing of at least 10 people last week, for which the military was accused. The Regional Minister is expected to lead the RECSEC to meet all parties involved in last week's incident to help with investigations. According to the Regional Minister, conflict has brought down every sector of life, making the town dysfunctional.
Please, let all the guns in Bawku be silenced. Let us put Bawku back to the map of Ghana. Let us seek peace. That is the only way, peace. Whatever it is, let us have peace. In conflict situations, it is usually women and children who suffer the most. And we all know over the years that fighting never solves any problem. It rather draws us back. It rather increases our poverty levels. We all know banks have closed. Schools have closed. Hospitals have closed. Commercial activity is completely almost zero. People are scared. These are the facts of Bawku. These are the realities of Bawku. What are we doing? My fathers, my brothers, my mothers. What are we doing? No one can come and seek peace for us. We will have to seek the peace ourselves.
Now, a senior public health officer of the Upper East Health Service Directorate, Suleimana Majid, has also been sharing the impact of the conflict on healthcare delivery.
Coming from Bawku, people coming from even across Ghana, they come to Bawku just to have HIV drugs. But as we speak now, in the entire region, 703 of them are not able to get drugs. And what it means is that majority of these people are dying at home. Apart from that, the other implication is that when we want to post any doctor, any nurse, any midwife to Bawku, and even the adjoining districts, the only thing is that I cannot go. I won't be able to go because my family says it is not secure for me. As the Honorable Regional Minister said, if we do not actually get a stop to this, what is going to happen is that in the coming few years, we may have a situation where there will not be any health worker who will actually be around to be able to take care of our health needs. And we are only living because we have health. If we don't have health, I don't think we'll live. So I just want to also use this opportunity with these few figures I just mentioned. This is just 2 years. If you want to pick from when it started till now, a lot of us will have seen that that is a whole family that is actually going. 70 mothers dying because they want to give birth, because they are not able to get access to health. They need us to come together so that we can be able to give them quality service.
We'll get back to the story later on in the bulletin. In the meantime, members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum have been picketing at the Ministry of Finance this morning, demanding their total exemption from the ongoing domestic debt exchange program. About 50 of the bondholders thronged the ministry's premises with placards and red band to register their displeasure of their inclusion. Here is what my colleague James Aveji gathered when he first spoke with them a while ago.
These are some of the pension bondholders who have gathered here. They are in their tents, about 50 to 60 of them gathered here this morning. The intention is to picket here at the Ministry of Finance to register their displeasure over their inclusion in the domestic debt exchange program. When I interacted with some of them earlier, they indicated to me that what they want right now is that government should officially declare that they, the independent bondholders, are not part of the domestic debt exchange program. They want total exemption. If you look at some of the placards they are carrying this morning, the message is that pensioners have no alternative source of income. Others are saying that don't turn pensioners into destitute. Our medical care is dependent on our coupon. Those are some of the messages. Now let's interact with some of them who are here this morning. I see one of our mothers here with bandage on her hand. It looks like you have some problems, but you have left your house and you are the Ministry of Ministry of Finance this morning. What exactly are you telling the minister and government?
I'm joining my colleagues to say that you should exempt us from this domestic bond exchange program, because we have paid our due to society and we bought the bonds on trust. Most of us from the banks were convinced that they are safe. They use the word risk-free, that the bonds are risk-free. So I believed everything and I invested some of my retirement benefits in it with the hope that every time I get a coupon, it will support my medical bills, because I tell you, you can just sleep and wake up one day and you have an ache somewhere, a pain somewhere. And so it's just to keep me going and make sure that I live a life of dignity after my 33 years of hard work. So you can't just wake up one day without negotiation, without calling us and explaining anything, and then we hear on announcement, after you have said that independent bondholders are exempt, then just before Christmas you said they are part of it. We are not just anyone. We are the senior citizens of this nation. We need that respect. We need to be treated with dignity, respect. In fact, we want our money. We don't want to be part of this program. If he can't even pay the coupons, he should give everybody their money. Let us live our lives.
This is their definition or their description to the abbreviation DDEP. Don't disturb earnings of pensioners. This is how the description they have given to the DDEP. I have here Dr. Edwan Anienche. We want to know how long you intend to do this.
We have said we will continue until we get our petition accepted. Yes. Every day 1 hour here, every day 1 hour here. We will behave as if we are coming to work. 1 hour, there we go. 1 hour, there we go. 1 hour, there we go. Every day until we get the exemption.
We understand the minister wants to see you.
Yes, we are going.
So you are getting audience from Keno Foriata?
Yes, I have been told they want to see us.
What's your expectation?
All that we expect is a clear statement that you have been exempted. If that comes, we will close and go home. Tomorrow we won't come.
My colleague James Aveji is still at the ministry and joins us on live now with some update. James, what was the outcome of that meeting between the group and the finance minister?
Okay, so the meeting actually, as we were told when they returned by Dr. Edwan Anienche, was that they went to officially present their concern again to the ministry, where they were met with some two officials of the finance ministry, and they promised that they will relay their information to the minister. And about some 15 minutes later, the minister came out to address the pensioner, the pension bondholders who were there. According to the minister, in fact, he noted that the difference in the percentages now, from their initial calculation, all bonds of the pension bondholders amounted or was at the rate of 18% coupon. And so the 15% rate that they introduced in their last communique is actually a difference of 3 or 3.5%. Some of them would mature beyond 5 years, but they have decided to bring that maturity to 5 years. And so the ministry and government feels that the offer, the current offer they are giving the Pension Bondholders Association is far better than what they would have gotten if they were to maintain their initial terms. Now, from his explanation, what it means is that the ministry is still going to maintain what the things they have indicated in their last communique. And so in reacting to that, the pension board holders noted that that is not exactly what they were expecting from the minister. And so I asked the question whether they are satisfied and whether they will be ticketing tomorrow as well, as they have indicated to us earlier that they will continue to do that 1 hour every day until they are totally exempted from the bond. And he says that he will relay the information to the rest of their members. Remember, they actually ended the picketing. Most of them have left before we had the indication that the minister wanted to talk to them. And so he will relay the information to the rest of the members. And later today, they will issue a communique on that, indicating whether they will continue the picketing or they will accept the terms offered in the last communique or continue with the ticketing.
All right, Theo. James, I'm grateful. Now, the two parliaments and the minority in parliament are alleging that up to 60 infrastructure projects are said to be suspended or cancelled by Ghana's quest to get an IMF program. Government has so far not announced any specific programs or projects which will be affected by the deal, despite hoping that a deal could be raised by the end of March. Minority Chief Whip Governs Kwame Agbaja says his side are aware of some meetings held at high levels of government to cancel or suspend up to 60 projects. He says there has been no transparency around this decision making.
The government have decided belatedly to go into IMF. But the arrogance of Dr. Bawumia and Ken Ofori-Atta and their opaque way of doing things is such that nobody knows exactly what they are taking to the negotiation. As we speak, we have a situation where Dr. Bawumia and Ken Ofori-Atta are the only ones probably who knows what they are negotiating. All they want is to decide that Ghanaians should pay a certain amount of money from their private sources to save them, which is the issue about the debt restructuring, which people are pushing against heavily. But there are other significant parts of the negotiation that are not known to Ghanaians, which are creating big anxiety, not only in Ghana, but across the globe. As we sit here, I'm aware that series of meetings have taken place with a close group of people in NPP, close to President Akufo-Addo, where allegedly about 60 projects and programs are going to be either suspended or cancelled. These programs include projects that you and I know about, maybe Obechebi, La General Hospital, Shama, the road between Tema Motorway Roundabout and Akosombo Bridge, Adomi Bridge, and many other projects across the country. You'll be surprised that this government actually paid some of the developers 15 to 20% mobilizations. These are foreign companies. They've taken the mobilization, are sitting in their offices drinking tea because government is unable to tell them whether to go ahead because Ken basically said, suspend all these things. So we are probably losing value because they've taken the money in terms of mobilization. They have set up camp, but they're in the office.
Now, according to Kwame Agbaja, up to 3 million jobs could be lost in the construction value chain if government goes ahead with this plan. He also says Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia do not have the requisite knowledge to be taking such decisions.
And you cannot blame them. This is of no value to the country. And we are saying, what are the principles underlining the selection of the projects NPP want to cancel, suspend, or go ahead? Don't we all have to have an understanding to this? I think we should. And that this lack of understanding creates big anxiety. There are financiers, developers, contractors, subcontractors, suppliers, and even ordinary workers working with these entities who are currently unsure whether they are going to lose their job permanently because some of them have started laying off people. I project that this could lead to job losses up to 3 million people in the value chain because when there are contractors in this country whose workforce is about 5,000, one person. So imagine 5,000 people spread out to their family size of about 4. The broke man is now coming to give you money to pay your rent.
Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us now with further details. Kweku, elsewhere we understand there's a caucus meeting in Parliament on a minority leadership crisis. Fill us in on that.
So, Brace, tomorrow Parliament is set to resume after going on break for a little over a month. And you know about this leadership paralysis, this leadership crisis on the minority front. The party is set today to officially have a conversation with the minority caucus and introduce the new leadership formally. The party wrote to the caucus informing them about this decision. We also know about a letter signed by Dr. Kwabena Donkor addressed to the party, actually signaling the intention of the 72 MPs that they may not attend this meeting because they want the party's Council of Elders, which they have petitioned, to be able to deal with these matters before they will be open to doing this meeting. But our understanding is that the party is insistent that this meeting will go on. Parliament is coming back tomorrow, and there will be no time to meet this new group again. We also know that over the weekend, the former president, John Mahama, met with some of these 72 MPs, including Dr. Kwabena Donkor, who signed this letter and urged them to support the party in making these changes on the floor of the House. And so what the sources are telling us now is that tomorrow, when this new leadership takes place and they sit in the front bench of the minority, some of these 72 MPs who, although had signaled their intention to back the old leadership, will now change the alliance and change and say that, well, this is a decision the party has taken, and although we disagree with the modalities, we want to support them now.
Okay, all right, Kweku. I'm grateful that you could join us with this update from the House. Let's now take you back to Bawku, where the Minister, Upper East Regional Minister, is leading the Regional Security Council to meet with chiefs and community leaders on the latest disturbances in Bawku, which has claimed 10 lives. Now, Albert Sorry is our man on the ground. He's been traveling with the Minister and joins us live now with some update on this. Albert, we understand the Minister has been meeting with these people. What else has he been saying?
Hello?
Albert, if you can hear me, I'm trying to find out from you what the Minister has been telling, the members of this particular meeting.
Yes, so basically the Minister has been saying that the conflict has affected virtually every sector of life. If you look at education, health, etc., every sector is almost down to its knees because of the effects of the conflict. And so he's been pleading with them to look at all these situations and then try to embrace peace for the development of Bawku.
What has been the response by the people in this meeting?
Yes, so at the moment, we have some of the chiefs here. We also have representatives from the Ghana Health Service as well as the Ghana Education Service, who are all giving, accounts, statistics about how the conflict has affected the various sectors. But the meeting had to go on a temporary break because of gunshots that were heard. We cannot tell exactly where, but while we were there, in some parts of the Bawku township, some gunshots were heard, and that led to a bit of, confusion because the people here felt that the Regional Security Council are here meeting with the people to try and discuss how the peace can return to the town, while some people are inside somewhere, still firing. And so they felt that the Regional Security Council needed to deal with the people who are perpetrating issues in first before we can look at the other things that are at hand. So that sort of temporarily halted the meeting for a while, and then later the meeting continued, and we had more people coming to make presentations about how various parts of the township are affected because of the conflict situation.
Were the security present able to apprehend whoever shot this gun?
No, this was happening far away from where we were.
Okay.
And so what they quickly did was to mobilize and tell us to go ahead with what we were doing, and that there was no danger whatsoever. at this moment, it is unclear for us to tell exactly where it was coming from. But it was ringing somewhere away from where we were, and you could just hear the rapid gunfire in the air.
Okay, so what's the composition of this meeting?
Yeah, so the regional minister is here with top security hierarchy from the Ghana Police Service. The regional commander is here. The regional commander of both the customs of the Ghana Fire Service as well. We have some representation from the Immigration Service as well. And then we have directors of the Ghana Health Service as well as the Ghana Education Service here. And then other members of the district and municipal security councils who are also here present. And then we have the elders of the Bawku Naba, and then the Bawku Naba himself was here. But after a while, when the little confusion broke out because of the shooting that we had, the Bawku Naba had to be escorted to his palace.
All right.
So at the moment, everything is back to normal, and they are continuing with the meeting.
All right, grateful to you, Albert. Sorry. Now, two other stories. And presiding member for Bibiani Amiaso Bekwai Municipal Assembly is engaging with Zongo chiefs, assemblyman, and resident of Bibiani Zongo and Old Town. The meeting comes on the back of the latest clash between resident and the military guards of Asante Gold Corporation. 5 persons have been injured as a result of the clash. 2 persons out of the injured 5 sustained gunshot wounds. The assemblyman of the area was also beaten during the clash. Now, let's go to our Dome FM correspondent, Augustine Bois, for the latest. Augustine, if you can hear me, has the meeting ended? Augustine, if you can hear me, I'm trying to find out from you whether or not the meeting has ended and what the outcome was.
The about 2 to 3 hours meeting has ended at the Bibiani Zongo, where the presiding member, Kwame Asamoah, met the assemblyman for Zongo electoral area, Mr. Abdullah Adams Mohammed, the Zongo chiefs, Old Town chiefs, and some of the residents of Bibiani Old Town and then Bibiani Zongo. And according to the presiding member, he assured the people that the Bibiani and Municipal Assembly will make sure and will enforce that the Asante Gold Corporation to either stop the activity or to relocate the residents of Bibiani Old Town and then Bibiani Zongo to a different place before they commence the activity. So he has assured the people that he will make sure that the proper way, the proper channel is passed through before the activities of the mining companies commence.
All right, grateful to you, Augustine Bois. Now to other stories. The Ghana AIDS Commission says HIV and AIDS infections are going up in significantly mining communities, hampering the country's effort at ending the disease by the targeted 2030 date. Director General of the Commission, Dr. Echreme Etuahene, revealed that there is an influx of sex workers to these communities, contributing to the rise in cases.
The Galamsey situation is also going to impact on our efforts. Current research says mining doubles new infections in the communities where mining are cited. And so we see it in our work that where there is mining or any major commercial activity, you see the inflow of sex workers into those areas. And the sex worker population is increasing.
Now, according to him, the phenomenon of anal sex in both gay and heterosexual couples is also fueling the rise, but expressed a hope that the country can end AIDS by 2030.
People who engage in anal sex, the number is also increasing. It's not only anal sex among men, between men and men, it's also anal sex between men and women. And so from where we sit, we believe that in terms of the science, we have the tools to end AIDS by the year 2030. But these challenges, if we are not able to address them quickly, can seriously undermine our efforts and our progress towards these targets.
Dr. Bibiani is Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. He'll be joining us with more on this, but we'll take a quick break now. We'll be back. Welcome back from the break. Now, Dr. Bibiani is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, and he joins us on Zoom with more on this. Doc, grateful that you could join us. Now, we've identified that HIV and AIDS is on the increase in mining communities as a result of the influx of sexual workers. What are we doing to ensure that we are still on track to achieve our target of ending HIV and AIDS by 2030? Hello, Doc. You'd have to unmute for us so we can follow what you're telling us.
Okay.
Great. So okay, did you hear my question, sir? I'm trying to find out from you, now that we've identified what is causing the rise, what are we doing to ensure that we're able to achieve our target?
Right. We are doing a number of things in line with our National Strategic Plan for 2021 to 2025. Our objective in relation to new infections is to reduce new infection by 80%. It should have been 90%, but looking at the baseline data, based on consensus, we say 80%. And we believe that if we work together, we should be able to achieve the 80%. Now, in respect of reducing new infections, we are doing targeted testing because people who live with HIV must be diagnosed. We have to diagnose at least 95% by the end of 2025. And so we are doing targeted testing, first among people who visit health facilities at both the OPD and ward levels. This testing is going on. The testing is going on. It's also high-risk groups. So we have a number of key population, like you mentioned, the sex workers, men who have sex with men. We are intensifying, testing among these groups. There are also specific groups like men, at-risk men, like those who are involved in long-distance driving, or cross-border drivers. We have groups like fisher folks and their counterparts in the fishing business, at the beaches. Young people, especially adolescent girls and young women. And so when these are the people, the groups among whom we find, high infections, and therefore when we test these groups, we are able to get high yield, and therefore we are able to put them on treatment immediately so that they can have the benefit of treatment, especially in the area of viral suppression and disease progression.
But Doc, as we target to achieve those percentages, we need to know where we are to be able to then tell whether we can or cannot. Where are we in terms of all the target that we've given ourselves?
Yes, so when we look at the new infections, as at the end of 2021, we are working on the 2022 data, but the 2021 data shows that about 16,000 people were newly infected in the country during that year. This is down from 18,000 the previous year. And so over the 5 years, which is between 2017 and 2021, new infections reduced by 26%.
Okay, all right.
It's also reduced by 38%.
Okay. Doc, I'm grateful that you could join us for us to have this conversation. Dr. Bibiani is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. Now, drivers and commuters are unhappy with the current state of the Accra-Tema Motorway as more potholes spring up on the express highway. Governments have over the years promised to reconstruct the road, but this is yet to happen, with further deterioration posing a serious threat to motorists. My colleague Michael Ashley has been traveling up and down the road and has come through with this report.
The Accra-Tema stretch of the N1 highway, also known as the Accra-Tema Motorway, is a crucial link for Ghana and the West African sub-region. However, this stretch of the N1 highway is becoming increasingly dangerous due to poor road maintenance. The express highway is not riddled with gaping potholes and drivers are fed up.
More than this, the trap is too much. They have to really come and construct the road. It's a death trap.
Right.
Because look at it, you can't call these potholes. So you can't call these potholes, and we pay a tax, so they have to come and resolve it for us.
Now, Samuel Amoa is the spokesperson for JPR2. He has been reacting to the situation on the motorway.
The condition of the motorway now is I can describe it as a death trap for motoring that plies the Accra-Tema Motorway. Why am I saying this? Now there have been so many potholes on the motorway. And when they decide to, do a maintenance or maybe try to fix it, the motorway is not a quota or something, but it's not a quota road. But if there is a pothole, instead of them maybe finding the best way to fix it or to just do the patching, they'll just use the quota and it will turn like a bond. Looking at the situation at the motorway now, we have been complaining. Every single driver, both private car drivers and commercial vehicles, everybody is complaining about the situation of the motorway. We hear that there's going to be an extension and whatever. When are they going to do it? And if they're trying to fix it, they should fix it in the best way that will suit, or will just help the drivers. Normally, whenever there is accident, everybody will be, referred to the drivers. They will say the drivers, the recklessness of the drivers and all that. Yes, we know some of the drivers, most of the accidents do happen and some drivers are not very careful, but the roads also, contribute to those accidents. Now,
you're still watching JoyNews today. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with business. Stay with us.
Good afternoon. Let's do business now. I'm Beverly Broom. As government inches closer to establishing a national airline, industry players are warning of political interference, which could weaken the foundation of the company. According to Group Executive of Ethiopian Airline, Masfin Bakele, having many political hands in such a corporate organization could badly affect its existence. He spoke to some journalists in Accra.
I know that Ghana used to have its own national carrier for several years, and unfortunately the airline was not successful. The airline business is different from other industries like banks or factories. It's a different business, and it requires special competencies, special experience, particularly in the leadership, to successfully set up an airline and develop it. Our advice to African governments is that when they want to set up an airline, they have to make sure that it's well organized and it has good leadership and good governance. Several African airlines, not only Ghana, but in other countries, didn't succeed. And there are several factors. One of them is interference.
Now, partners between two Ghanaian businesses, Rockland Farms and importer of frozen foods, LaBianca Company Limited, is expected to boost the local poultry sector. The country relies heavily on imported poultry products due to a number of challenges facing the poultry farmers, including marketing. Chief Executive Officer of Rockland Farms, Edith Akosa, is happy with this step, which will see LaBianca offtake the local products, but is worried about cost of feed. Our Tema correspondent Kwame Yanka has the rest of the story.
Over the years, Ghana's quest to see a thriving poultry subsector has been saddled with a number of challenges, from access to soft loans for poultry farmers to competing with cheap imported poultry products. These setbacks have literally crippled the subsector, with the country's economy bearing the brunt due to heavy importation. Addressing this issue is said to require all stakeholders putting their shoulders to the wheel. Two Ghanaian businesses, Rockland Farms and importer of frozen foods, LaBianca Company Limited, have gone into partnership, which will see the latter offtake product under the name Akoko Tasty from the former. At a ceremony in Tema to announce the partnership, Chief Executive Officer of Rockland Farms, Edith Akosa Whitland, touches on how cost of feed is impacting on pricing of the local products.
Our biggest constraint was marketing. Besides, the cost of production is very high, but now we have a major off-taker. At least when we do a mass production, at least we could get something, but we are still counting on the government to come in to support us. They used to have a waiver for certain ingredients that we bring in to support our production. They've taken the waiver off, so we are pleading with the government to bring the waiver on the agri sector for this project to be sustainable. The funds that we use to produce, at least they can give us a special rate for the agri sector and also help in the production of the maize and soya to bring down the cost of production.
Executive Officer of LaBianca Company Limited, Eunice Asumahine, in her speech, urged government to create an enabling environment to produce poultry feed locally.
Industries to produce feed in Ghana. You produce feed in Ghana, I'm telling you, Obia best stop importation. Say, yeah, can see a produce, yeah, best stop. Now say, yeah, produce it, yeah, and they're still. Locally, Mubenya problems and foreign producers no beg anymore on us. Let's say both the importers no grampono. Obiamra out. Na yamwa. Where the ya de Ghana for ya dia. It's Obiamwa. Abanya ni the banks. Munya modie. Na individuals. Obia sunya ni die.
And that's all for business. We have more business when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I'm Beverly Broom. Next is sports.
To some boxing now, and former IBF welterweight champion Joshua Clottey, he says there's nothing like bribe in boxing. According to him, his loss to Manny Pacquiao in 2010 had nothing to do with him accepting a bribe, and he does not regret that loss.
There is no bribe in American boxing. We don't have something like that. Nobody will call you and tell that, Joshua, I want to pay
maybe
you.
A fixed fight.
There is no fixed fight in America.
Really?
I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. There is no fixed fight. Sometimes the British, some of the boxers get, you people fall like it's a fixed fight, but it's not. I'm in top of my game. I'm in a level of, if I won that fight, I'm gonna make more money. Why are you gonna tell me Mayweather is there to fight with me after the Pacquiao fight? Yeah. Then you're telling me fixed fight. Then you pay me what you're gonna pay me. If I won that fight, I'm gonna fight with Mayweather. I'll make almost like getting to $10 million.
Also, just reports coming in is that for another Ghanaian player, Isaac Kofi, he also suffered the strike that happened following the earthquake in Turkey, but he says he's safe and he's been trying to reach Christian Atsu without success. He'll be joining us on Sports today at 2 p.m. when my colleague Natana Ato comes your way with that show. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews today. Now, 13 years on since Ghanaian actress Yvonne Nelson was banned by the Film Producers Association of Ghana. She's been opening up on how almost all her colleagues failed to support her. She told George Koye on Showbiz A to Z on Joy from Saturday that it was only Majid Michelle who stood by her in those trying times.
You just mentioned the ban. Yeah, in 2010, a group of men came together and banned me.
Wow.
So they said, Yvonne Nelson, we will not allow you to shoot movies, to act for a year.
Because you did what?
Because I was treated unfairly on set. Majid was on set that day, so Majid remembers everything. Yeah, so around that time, I did a lot of thinking, and you know, I was depressed, and I just said to myself, Yvonne, why don't you register a company? You know, so I just wanted to do something on my own. And I remember I spoke with a couple of my colleagues, my close friends at the time, and they all said, no, it's a bad idea, Yvonne, because when you become a producer, no producer will call you to be in their movie, so don't do it.
Wow.
I cannot mention their names, but they all told me not to do it. You know, and during the ban, they all did not support me. It was just Majid. Majid was the one who would, you know, follow me, will go here, go and beg small, go here, go and beg small. So it was just Majid at the time, and we're not even that close, you know. So yeah, I started producing for Media GH. They bought Vibe FM, Live FM. So I was producing for them. So the first 3 movies I produced were theirs. Yeah, so I got some experience as a producer, and then I started funding my own movies. So I shot Single, Married and Complicated, a sequel to Single and Married. That's how the whole journey started. And you just have to be consistent, you know. I'm very passionate about it. I love what I do. I have invested, I've bought equipment, you know. So for me, there's no turning back. I'm going to be around for the longest time.
Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on JoyNews today. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Good afternoon to you, Grace.
Good afternoon, Becky. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin for you. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is Marketplace with Darrell Cobb. Good afternoon.